Indoor plants can be a fantastic way to brighten up your home on a budget. In this video, I'm going to count down my top 5 places to find cheap indoor plants. And number 1 is probably going to surprise you. Hi, I'm Cindy from Smart Family Money. I help you learn how to shop smarter, save money, and save time so you can get back to changing the world. So today I wanted to talk about cheap plants. There's 2 reasons that I absolutely love cheap indoor plants. The first is they're just an inexpensive home decor item. They're less expensive than a lot of other things that can brighten your home. They're also really great for your physical and your mental health. But the second reason I love cheap plants in particular is I'm not great at keeping plants alive. So if I only spend a few dollars buying a plant and it dies after a month or 2, I figure I got a few dollars worth of joy out of it. It was less expensive than a bouquet of flowers and it lasted longer. So there's no guilt when they die because honestly, they will a lot of times. But after years of being great at killing plants, I've also learned which ones survive my neglect. So if you want me to do another video about types of plants and which ones I found work for me, let me know in the comments and we can talk about that in another video. In this one, I'm focusing on my top 5 places to find cheap indoor plants. Let's start with number 5. Home garden centers. Now, garden centers are generally not the most inexpensive place to find plants, but you can find some good deals there if you just know how to shop. At the garden center, I found that 6-inch plants were around $8 to $9 and 4-inch pots were about $6. Now, most places do sell plants and they price them by the size of the pot. One of my first tips for looking at the garden center is pay attention more to the size of the plant than the pot, especially if you already plan to put it in a fancier decorative pot. So you might find a larger plant in a 4-inch pot than a similar one in a 6-inch pot, and the 4-inch pot is going to be less expensive. So just pay attention to that as you're shopping around the garden center. Another tip for shopping at a garden center is don't overlook hanging plants. If you're going to repot it, it doesn't matter if it started out in a hanging pot, you can always put it in a regular pot, and you might find some good prices on larger plants that way. Another big tip for the garden center is don't overpay for plants that are already in decorative pots. I found a snake plant in a nice looking pot for about $20, but I found a similar sized plant for only $6, and then I found a pot that was only $5. So together that would be $11 as opposed to $20, and you literally just have to drop the plant inside the pot and you're good to go. In general though, at the garden center, I would stick to more unusual plants that you're not going to be able to find elsewhere. And if you want a really common plant, go to one of my other options. So next up on the list, number 4 is home improvement stores. Lowe's and Home Depot have a really good selection of houseplants. I thought maybe Menards would also have a good selection, but they only have outdoor plants. They don't have indoor plants at my local Menards. One of the best deals you'll find at the home improvement stores is the larger plants. You'll find large floor plants for as low as $15, which is a really good price for big plants. Their smaller plants are about the same prices that I found at the garden center. One notable exception, though, is that Lowe's and Home Depot tend to have seasonal rotational things that are not in the regular section. They might be out in the main aisles of the store, and those tend to be a little better prices, actually. You just never know what you're going to get at each time of year. Right now, I noticed they had some really nice plants in terracotta pots for only $7. Similar plants without a fancy pot were $8 in the regular plant section, so you could actually pay less and get a nice pot with it, which seems like a good deal to me. One money-saving tip that you'll often hear is to check the clearance section of plant sections, but especially at Lowe's, I would just pass by the clearance section. Every time I've seen it, it looks like a graveyard for plants, and it's just depressing. And especially if you're new to raising plants, you're not going to be one who's going to revive a half-dead plant. And the prices in their clearance section are just not that great for as terrible as the quality of the plants you're getting. So just go elsewhere and skip the Lowe's clearance section. Number 3 on my countdown of places to get cheap indoor plants is Walmart. Walmart can have some really great plants. You'll find them in the garden center in the indoor part. Some of their plants are pretty close in price to what you'll find at the garden centers or Lowe's and Home Depot, but their small plants especially can be a great price. Today at Walmart, I found a great selection of small succulents for only $3.74. That's an incredible price. Another thing that Walmart tends to have is some nice looking plants in decorative pots. I found some as low as $10. They had some aloe and a bamboo plant, and I found some other ones in really cute pots for $13. My daughter was with me on our plant exploration mission, and she picked up one of the bamboo plants that they had at Walmart. This was $10, and it's really cute. It'll look great on her desk. I love that it came with a really nice ceramic pot with it, so that's a great deal for $10. Number 2 on my countdown of best places to find cheap plants is large grocery stores. Larger grocery stores tend to have a floral department, and you might find plants in the floral department as well. When I used to live in Columbus, Ohio, one of my favorite places to get plants was actually Kroger. And the reason it was so great was because they had a rotation of plants that they would have in. They'd have them for like a month, and then they'd have some other kind of plant. And when they were done with that selection of plants, they put them on clearance. And they put them for really great prices, like $2 or $3 sometimes, even with a decorative pot. And what was so great about that is, unlike Lowe's and their half-dead plants in the clearance section, the Kroger clearance section of plants were beautiful. They were great. There was nothing wrong with them. They were just last month's selection. So definitely, if you have a Kroger around, check for a clearance section in their floral department. No matter which grocery chain you have near you, you're likely to find some good deals at the grocery store. Here in Cleveland, we have a discount chain called Mark's, and I found some really great plant prices there. They had 4-inch pots for only around $3, and they had 6-inch pots for around $7. They also had some really cute decorative pots with plants for in the range of $7 to $9. When I was at Mark's today, I picked up this plant. It's a 6-inch pothos, and it was $6.87, which is a pretty good price for such a big-looking plant. This one comes in a basic garden pot that has the holes in the bottom. So you definitely don't want to bring this home and just set it on a table, because it's going to leak water out the bottom. The fact that water comes out the bottom is good for the plant, though, because it gives it some drainage. So one of my best tips is take this kind of pot and put it inside of something else decorative. So I had this decorative pot. It's a little bit taller than the pot for this one, so I solved that by putting a piece of packing foam in the bottom. If you're going to do this, make sure it's something that is okay with water, like styrofoam or plastic packing foam, not something like cardboard, because it's definitely going to get wet in there. And you can just pop that pot right inside, and look how nice that looks. Speaking of pots, I love to find great deals on pots for plants. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments, and maybe I could do another video about finding good deals on pots for plants. Are you ready for my number 1 place to get cheap indoor plants? It is Aldi. Yep, believe it or not, my favorite place to get cheap groceries is also my favorite place to get cheap plants. You never know what kind of plants are going to have, but they always have some kind of plant. It just changes all the time. So you need to keep your eye out anytime you're there. Today, they had some really cute 4-inch plants that were only $3. And they came in a decorative pot that looks nice. So for only $3, I had to pick up one today when I was there. I'm going to put this one on my desk, and I think it's really going to brighten the room. And it takes no extra work for me because it's already in a cute pot. Love it. I've gotten other plants from Aldi over the years. I got a couple really nice ones for my front entryway about 2 years ago, and they've grown so much over the last couple years. As you can see, this one comes in a larger pot, so it was a little more expensive than the other ones, but I think it was still around $8 or $9. For a plant this size in a decorative pot, you just cannot beat that price anywhere else. So I hope you enjoyed my countdown of the top 5 places to find cheap indoor plants, and I hope you check out plants at Aldi next time you're there. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.